What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Wrestlemania 12, part of our 39 Wrestlemanias in 39 days. I am here with Wrestlemania 12. First of all, I can see what they were going with this logo. I think it looks fucking hideous, but maybe that's just me, maybe that's just an unpopular opinion, but I think that looks like trash, so... whatever. But we're here with WrestleMania 12. Another very small card in terms of matches, mostly because this WrestleMania includes a 60-minute Iron Man match. So, obviously, with half of the WrestleMania, effectively, being one match, you're going to have a smaller card and shorter matches outside of that. But... did we get some decent matches? Did we get some stinkers that are basically just stuck to the whims here? Let's find out. As always, I am joined by Rob's ratings over there on the side. Keynote last time I forgot to mention, but it was not WrestleMania 111. It was WrestleMania 11. If you go back and check that one out, you will see I totally forgot to make that notice until I finished recording that Rob had done that. But yeah, WrestleMania 12 is here. As you can tell, it is only a 6-match card because of that 60-man Iron Man match. I also made a mistake with my coloring schemes here on this chart here, but I don't think we have any zeros in this bunch, so quite frankly, I don't think it'll matter. So we're going to just move on. We're going to start off with WrestleMania 12. This WrestleMania took place on March 31st, 1996. And it took place in Anaheim, California, so effectively LA. That's why the WrestleMania card looks like it does, because it was supposed to be like a Hollywood logo. And yeah, again, it looks like trash, but what do you do? We're going to kick things off with Camp Cornette, which is Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, and Vader versus Ahmed Johnson, Jake Roberts, and Yokozuna. Vader and company would go on to win this match, which honestly, given the heels versus faces here, I think it was more important for the heels. Owen Hart, British Bulldog, and Vader to go over. Vader was the new pick. Vader is arguably one of the best big men of all time. Not so much in the WWF/WWE, but he is overall. You hear his name, if you check his cage match score, it's fucking insane. The work he did in TNA, WCW, Japan, it's historic. Matter of fact, he is considered one of the best villains in Japanese wrestling of all time. That's how important he was to Japanese wrestling. So, really glad to see Vader here. Really glad to see Vader go over here. I thought that was definitely the right move, just based off a historical standpoint. So, definitely agree with the win. Honestly, pretty consistent and fun 6-man tag match. Vader got to excel in his intro to WWE. Him and Yokozuna had a great exchange. That was kind of the whole point of the match, was to get Vader and Yokozuna together here. I think they actually went on to have a couple of decent matches throughout this next calendar year, based on what I was researching. Jake definitely looks like he's losing some steps here. Jake Roberts definitely is not the same Jake the Snake Roberts that he was from WrestleMania's previous. But again, age catches up to everyone, and he wasn't a fresh chicken when he first started here. So definitely can tell he's losing it. Ahmed Johnson looked good when doing big spots, but looked really sloppy doing basic moves. Didn't seem to have a good match flow. Didn't have great chemistry with everyone else. But again, the big spots he was in, absolutely looked decent in. Again, I thought Yokozuna was definitely getting too big to be able to move like he is, and you can kind of see how after he does a couple of big spots, he needs a major spell to kind of rest and recuperate. Definitely getting too large to be competitive for a single contest, so you got to put him in these 6-man or two-man tag matches. Unfortunately, on the heel side, definitely carried this match. I thought Vader looked amazing. Owen Hart is still Owen Hart. And I honestly thought British Bulldog seemed to recapture a little bit of his lost luster that he had with his Allied Powers run with Lex Luger. I thought making him a heel again was definitely the right move, and I thought he excelled in this match. He did excellent. Again, this match was about Vader and showcasing Vader off, and I thought Owen and British Bulldog helped set him up to do so. And ultimately, this match ended up being a fun but average match. Again, as long as Ahmed Johnson and Yokozuna weren't in the match for very long, this match was good. Let Jake be the kind of the heel, what is it? There's a term for it. Face in despair. As long as Jake Roberts was the face in despair, this match was going well. The moment he wasn't, it became a hit or miss match. And so, I gave it a 6 out of 10 because of that. Looks like Rob mostly agreed with that sentiment. He gave it a 5 out of 10, but again, based on that 0.5 average, it is going to end up getting knocked up. So we are going to go ahead and move this up to the 6. Oh, I need to make it so they're bigger because I'm about to say there's like 3 people cut off there. There we go. We'll give it the 6 that I think it deserves. Up next, we have Goldust and Roddy Piper in a backlot brawl. I'll be honest, I don't fucking understand the point of this. I do, I get it. Again, this is going to be one of those situations where, had I been watching wrestling at the time, this is a much more entertaining bout than it ended up becoming. I did not like the initial brawl. I did not like the, obviously, cheap O.J. Simpson footage. It was not Roddy Piper chasing Goldust around in the cars like it looked like. It was O.J. Simpson footage. And I think that was the joke because they kind of mentioned it on commentary. Didn't land with me. Again, probably fucking hilarious in 1996. Not funny to me. I didn't think that the ending, again, they would appear basically after every single match. There was a Roddy Piper Goldust segment. Didn't like the match itself. Very sloppy. Pouring water all over the parking lot, so they slipped and slid everywhere. It's all throughout it. None of it struck with me. It interrupted other matches. Like, literally in the middle of other matches, they're talking about them. So you took away from the matches that were going on to talk about Roddy Piper chasing Goldust around. It just didn't stick for me, you know? And again, given the time period, it probably would have been a much better match and people would have probably enjoyed it more. But it just didn't land for me at all. And the ending segment was just terrible. Absolute terrible. Just so distasteful. Again, hilarious for 1996. Well, it's whatever. I didn't really care for it. So I gave it a 1. Rob was clearly more entertained by it than I was. He gave it a 5 out of 10. So I'll move it up to a 3. Because that 6 is going to end up getting averaged out to a 3. So that's where we'll put it. It's whatever. I felt like it detracted from the entire event as a whole. Next up, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's still in his ringmaster getup, effectively. He has Stone Cold Steve Austin. He has kind of shed the ringmaster title, but he is still carrying the $1 Million title. He's still being paid for by the $1 Million Man, and he's going up against Savio Vega. Austin won. It is so nice to see a fully healthy Austin, because that man battled injuries his entire career, which is why it was so short. But him and Vega, they had some good technical output. Crowd was dead. And I wouldn't put it past the fact that you had the Roddy segment interrupting this match and prior to this match that kind of killed the crowd. The crowd's dead for this. They are not head over heels for Stone Cold yet. That's why he had to pull off the badass persona and the Texas rattlesnake and the middle fingers up everywhere. He had to pull that persona out to get over with the crowd because they were not feeling this gimmick at all. Savio Vega, without being in the Nation of Domination, is also not hitting it at all. Two wrestlers that were trying to get over with the crowd but hadn't done it yet. You put them together, you create a dead crowd, and that hurts the match. Overall, Steve Austin hadn't blossomed yet. He was still really strapped by that boring $1 Million Man gimmick. Match was sloppy at times, boring at others. I hate to rate a Stone Cold match this low, but 4 out of 10. I thought their technical output was decent, and the ending was decent as well, but this match had nothing going for it. Rob agrees, gave this match a D, which is going to be a 3. It's going to end up sticking at that 4. I would honestly be completely okay with putting it at a 3, but I think a 4 is a bit more fair because of what they did in the match. Was decent, just wasn't very good. Not overall, anyway. Next up, we have the Ultimate Warrior returning against Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Triple H before he was Triple H. He was still in that Golden Boy, fucking horrific theme song, by the way. Just absolute trash theme. I'm so glad he dropped that eventually. Ultimate Warrior wins. This Mania included a lot of superstars before they had found their superstar streaks, as you could tell by Steve Austin. You saw it again here with Triple H. wrestlers that were going to blossom into top tier wrestlers, but they just hadn't hit it yet. You see it all the time. You see it in modern wrestling. LA Knight wasn't LA Knight. He was Max, right? He was with the Maximum Male Models, Max Dupree. So you see it all the time. You just got to find that gimmick that works and you fucking roll with it. And these two, Steve Austin, Triple H, they hadn't found those sweet spots and those gimmicks yet. And you could really tell they were floundering. Here, he's fucking jobbing to the Ultimate Warrior. Just absolutely terrible. It was a borderline squash match. He no-sells a pedigree. Like, of course the Ultimate Warrior no-sells a fucking pedigree. And jacks off the fucking ropes before finally just, I hate him. I hate him. Why? I had been saved. Hulk Hogan's no longer on the card. I don't have to deal with him. I haven't seen you in so long. The WrestleManias were actually been decent. And now I have another fucking Ultimate Warrior match that I have to review. 1 out of 10. I gave this match an F. Even Rob hated this match and gave this match an F. And that man's been trying to salvage Ultimate Warrior this entire time. I'm giving it a 1 because, it's there and I fucked up the 0 and you can barely see the 0, so we're just going to give it a 1. You're welcome, Ultimate Warrior. I fucked up, so I can't give you a 0. But I also put a 1 on here, so... listen, squash matches at WrestleMania, they shouldn't happen. I pray to God I never see one again. But I'm pretty sure we will see them again. Finally, Undertaker versus Diesel. Finally, a fantastic Undertaker match. I've been waiting for one for so long, and we finally have it. Undertaker versus Kevin Nash is phenomenal. It is an excellent match. I know there's some people that think it is overrated, and some people, I know most people give it like a 5 or 6. I gave this match an 8. 8 out of 10. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was really nice to see the Undertaker not be the absolute over-dominant force. He had kind of trimmed back the dead man and I'm a supernatural being persona and kind of fell back into a more wrestler with a demonic background type deal. It worked a lot better. It made it more real. It made it more relatable. And it made it so this match made more sense. Diesel kind of beats him for most of the match. Taker has to come back at the end. Tombstones that gigantic man. It was a phenomenal match. It felt nice to see him have someone that he has to overpower instead of overpowering them from the start. Just an absolute great match. Diesel or Kevin Nash can actually compete with him. He can actually keep up with him. He can actually help him out in terms of making the match good, unlike all the other people that just basically sandbag him the entire time. It created magic with this match. I loved it. It was fantastic. A little bit slower, given that it's two big men, but it worked. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I was solidly entertained throughout this entire match. Rob did give it a C+, which is a 6. That means these two are going to average out to a 7. It's still a B. Not as high as I rated it, but not as low as Rob rated it. We'll set it right there at that 7. And I think it was definitely the redeeming match on this card outside of the main event. And at least somewhat made up for the absolute drastically horrendous Ultimate Warrior match down there at the bottom of the card. Finally, next up, we have a 60-minute Iron Man match, including Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart for the WWF Championship. This match is iconic, and I would love to talk about an iconic match with no one else except Rob. So, let's have our match review as we discuss the iconic 60-man Iron Man match. Welcome to the match review here for WrestleMania 12. My name is Eric. I'm here with Rob as always. Mm-hmm. And we are here to talk about one of the most iconic matches ever. Of course, most of the matches that we end up reviewing here are pretty iconic matches, or the only good matches on the card. But this is one that is both. It's the best match of the card, while also being one of the more iconic matches, really the only match of WrestleMania 12 in general. Everything was shortened so this match could go on. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart in a 60-minute Iron Man match that ended in a 0-0 tie. Had to go to overtime, in which case Shawn Michaels finally got the one fall to send this into a fury. Bret Hart tried to leave the ring with the title at the draw because he thought that it was over. They announced overtime. He comes back in. He takes the Sweet Chin music, and it's over. I loved the match. I thought this match was absolute technical mastery at its finest. Shawn Michaels obviously dominating the first half. Bret Hart. Wait, hang on. Did I get that reversed? I'm pretty sure it was. Shawn Michaels dominating the first 30. Bret Hart dominating the last 25. And then the final 5 minutes is some of the most chaotic, amazing, exciting, back and forth, drama filled, finisher filled, just entertaining, exciting from start to finish.
Yep.
Overtime was obviously, like I said, Bret Hart leaving, take a, kiss the boot and fall down. What did you think of this match? What do you think of the lasting impact of this match?
The very end of the match was great. Had people on their toes. But I personally did not like...
You gave this match a B, I believe.
Yeah, I personally didn't like the fact that it was a 0-0 draw. And I think I told you this in the kitchen or something, where I wish it would have had a little bit of more back and forth exchange, whether that be, 2-2 or a 3-2 or a 3-1 and then a comeback or something. But more or less like the 2-2, where it was already at that stalemate and you're just waiting for that next big move to get the dub.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't really like the matches where it goes one person dominates one side and one person dominates the other. Granted, this match did have that, but I do like that it wasn't just like stale.
It was like they were hitting moves on each other the entire time. There was some counters, but in the end, Shawn Michaels took back control in the first 30. Bret Hart always took back control in the last 30 or last 25, and then those last 5 minutes.
Right. It wasn't like, Ric Flair dominated Savage, and then Savage hit the one punch and then rolled him up for the pin.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
They at least had some sort of exchange to keep people interested.
I think with this match, and this is why I'm okay with it being 0-0, and I might have mentioned this to you in the kitchen too when we were discussing it. I'm okay with this match being 0-0 because it's Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. The impact the two of those had, the characters that they had built between the two of them. The feud they had. They had built these two to be the top tier wrestlers. This was the new Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, except for both of them were likable. And so you built them to be strong. You built them to be hardy. You built them to overcome. Well, now they have to overcome each other. So what do you do when these two collide? They overcome each other. They don't let the other one get the upper hand. They don't let the other one get the pin. They don't let the other one have any chance to build a substantial opposition towards one another. So because these two are so evenly matched in K-Fob, technical geniuses, you had two great stories developing. I think it makes sense being 0-0. And I also think the surprise finish with Bret Hart getting pissed off that he has to come back for overtime and then bam, it's over. I thought that was great because it was like a moment of weakness for Bret Hart. He dropped his guard. I've got it. It's a draw. I'm still the champ. You can't lose if you don't lose. You can't lose if you don't lose. He dropped his guard and then lost it. That's excellent storytelling. Master class storytelling. So yeah, I gave this match a 10 out of 10. I'm trying to see if there's any other notes that I put on here. Oh, I love the ring psychology. I love the fact that it was a lot of limb targeting, limb psychology with Shawn targeting the arm and leg, Bret targeting his lower back to set up for the sharpshooter, which he hit multiple times. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the right person won this match as well. This was Shawn Michaels' time to shine. I thought he had earned it. And so, yeah, I thought it was great. Right person won. Perfect match, perfect booking, perfect result. That's what I...
Detail was in this shot right here.
Mm-hmm.
Is you see Dale Hebner. I don't think Earl Hebner was the ref just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But Dale Hebner was explaining the rules to Bret and Shawn. And you can tell Bret just looks he's got that like fuck you animosity.
Mm-hmm.
He's always had that towards Sean, and then Sean's just always been the stoic like, I'm not gonna look him in the face because he doesn't deserve it, because fuck him, I'm the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I thought that detail to start off the match was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
To then set up for the eventual screw job in those kind of matches.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you here. I absolutely thought this match was, I don't, not really much else to say here outside of what we've already said. This match was absolutely great from start to finish, and yeah, like I said, right person won overall, and excellent finish. So yeah, that I think that's really all we can say. If you guys haven't seen this match, you definitely should. It's definitely worth the watch. Wrestlemania 12, also kind of worth the watch as well. So, good job.
It's getting good.
Horrible fucking logo, though, as I've said already.
Bum, 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 bum.
Stop it.
Bum, bum.
Back to me. Back to me. Back to me. Back to me. Vic is trying to sleep.
Oh, sorry.
And thank you guys for watching that match review with Rob. Again, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Rob gave it a B+. Just because he did think that, 60 minutes was hard to get through for him. And we talked about that, obviously. So he gave it a B+. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's going to end up averaging out to that 9. And I'm normally, in these situations, when I feel like they're all-time classics, I tend to say maybe Rob was not quite as understanding of it, but he actually, again, he makes some great points for this match. So I'm fine with keeping this at a 9 and not trumping him. At least he watched this match. So yeah, we'll go with a 9. And another shorter WrestleMania. I'm not going to complain. I listen. You guys might not want to watch 38-minute WrestleMania reviews. I have to talk for 38 minutes straight. I don't take breaks when I record these, and I record these in bulk. So I've been recording since WrestleMania 7. So I've been recording for about 6 hours now. I am tired of talking myself, so I'm going to greatly appreciate a couple of short WrestleManias to give my throat a little bit of a break. But this Mania is going to end up averaging out to another straight 5 out of 5. 5 out of 10, which honestly, I expected, given that we have a 1 and a 9, a 7 and a 3, 6 and a 4. That makes sense. It's kind of obvious. I probably didn't even need a calculator for this to give us one a 5. So back-to-back 5s for WrestleManias. WrestleMania 11 and 12. And honestly, I don't think that's entirely a bad thing, given the sheer below-average quality of the earlier WrestleManias. I think having a couple average ones with, You're seeing something consistent with a lot of these WrestleManias. You have a stinker that is an absolute trash stinker just because they felt like they have to have a bad match on the card. And then you have a really good all-time classic with a lot of these earlier WrestleManias. You saw it with 11, you saw it with 10, you're seeing it now with 12. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see it with most of them going forward, especially once Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and Stone Cold. Eventually The Rock gets added to this list. Triple H starts to get added to this list. Undertaker is starting to get some decent WrestleMania matches under his belt now, so you start to see these WrestleManias trend in that direction of having at least one must-see match on every card. And that is a great sight to see given where we started from. I'm now starting to understand how we reached 40 of these. Because if you recall, earlier on, I was wondering how the hell we ever get there, because boy, were they some stinkers. But really glad to be on this upward trend now, and I cannot wait to talk about WrestleMania 13 with you guys. So, I will see you then. You all have a fantastic night, and I hope you enjoyed my review of WrestleMania 12. Good night, guys.